my theory in the United States is that it's been a pretty slow, painful crawl towards living up to the ideals it started with, right? Like it starts with like we the people all having been created equal, but at that point, as we've discussed in several of these videos at this point, they really meant like landowning white dudes and nobody else, right? So so not really we the people, but you know,
But
then
the words are
non-land.
still there.
Yeah, like the idea exists in the world. Even if not in their heads, they put it into the world, right? And that's great. What a thing, right? But and we've been there's been progress, substantial fucking progress, right? Like more and more people have been allowed, women and African Americans, and we still have issues. Like we're not there, but like we're heading in the right direction. Except there is a whole substantial portion of the country that's like, I don't know, man. The '50s were cool, and it's like that's the wrong fucking direction,
Yeah, I mean they
right?
they vehemently believe that we're heading in the wrong direction, and that sucks.
Yeah, I think fundamentally what that means is they're just not. They don't believe in democracy, and I wish they would acknowledge that, like because more people agree with going towards more people vote, right? Like that's just which makes sense, right? Like we were raised on the ideals of democracy, even if the people teaching or guiding that teaching didn't actually believe the shit they were teaching us. That's their problem. You know what I mean? Like the values I was given as a kid is like one person, one vote. Everyone should get to vote who's over 18, right? Like that's just you know that's democracy. Like if you're there's so much in the Republican Party right now that it's just they're just fundamentally anti-democratic. And while that is talked about, I still don't think it's talked about enough. It's like they
Hmm.
just don't like everyone having a voice. At the end of the day, their legal theory of government, everything is that we should be in charge, even though there's less of us. I, I have no response to that other than fuck you. Now it's easy for me to say because I'm on the side where most people agree.
Yeah,
Like I'm not losing, so like somehow I might still lose because and this is where not ignoring the reality of the formation of our country has, I think, really led to this crisis, which is they said the pretty words, but they put elitism bombs in our democracy, right? And we just left them there,
hmm,
and we didn't have to because another cool thing they did is they made the document. And they're like, "Hey, you can change this. Just got to agree." Right? And we just didn't. Like electoral college is such an anachronistic, stupid thing. Like some of the Senate rules that create so much of our problems with the field, like it's just this is an archaic, stupid thing that we're still doing for no other reason than we've done it for a long time. And come on, like we are now a democracy that on multiple occasions has elected our leader, and he lost the popular vote. Like it has now happened numerous times in our lifetime. That's
and
insane.
the last few by significant margins.
We try to call ourselves the leading democracy in the world. I mean, I can make a strong argument against that being the case at this point. Like, I'm not saying I'd be right. I'm just saying I'd have some good points, particularly given our Supreme Court.
Oh, are we
Rock
ready for
stars.
that? Are we
Well,
ready
didn't
for
we already
that
talk about them
discussion?
destroying the administrative state, or has it
They
come down? Did they?
they
What
yeah,
they
they
rule?
released the Trump decision, the Trump immunity decision.
Okay, they did it. They kicked it back to lower courts, didn't they?
They
Those
kicked it.
assholes,
All right. Well, here's what they did. They kicked it back to the lower courts after
fuckers.
declaring that the president cannot be prosecuted for official acts, and it is now up to the lower court to decide what, if any,
Whether an
conduct in the
insurrection is an
indictment
official
is
act.
an official act.
Why
Um,
the fuck can't a president be that? That's
Are you there? Are you stunned, speechless?
I'm trying to breathe so I don't scream and break my mic.
Okay.
There's no fucking reason why a president shouldn't be. There's no reason for him to have immunity for criminal acts. There's no fucking reason. There's none. There's absolutely none. This is this is blatant fucking bullshit. This is just insanity injected into our constitution that has no fucking reason to be there. And I I believe that is impeachable. This decision is fucking impeachable. It's bullshit. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Um, so the rest of the decision before I move on to what their
No,
state. No.
no.
Okay, yes.
Go ahead, go
Um,
ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry.
so,
I can't. I'm gonna fall down.
in addition to not being able to be indicted for anything that is an official act, a court may not even consider anything that was a part of an official act as evidence to prove criminality of an unofficial act. So if you have a conversation with your chief of staff, that is an official act of president. If that conversation consists of revealing your motive for criminality in the unofficial act you're about to do, court can't look at that conversation.
That's that is a. Not only is that a morally and legally reprehensible decision, it seems like it's going to be wildly impractical from an evidence standpoint. Like you just said that, but I could argue that if they're not discussing official matters, it is a conversation between two friends at that point and not official. Like, so now we have to have a fucking hearing trying to determine, like by a preponderance of the evidence, if it was a friend chat or it's this
Yep.
is such a mess. Like, not only like yeah, it also just fucking insane and anti-American and just anti-us. It's anti fucking everything that we're supposed to stand for. It is an asinine decision. But
6-3,
I,
obviously.
oh my god.
Um,
Ooh, you got any news on the dissent? I bet you there was some choice
I
fucking
have no
snippets in that
news on
one.
the dissent yet. Um, so
Okay, so basically, but under the most under your construction, where like I'm gonna get away with, and to be clear, folks, Kyle's right. You're gonna get away with this. I'm having a conversation with my whatever Secretary of State, a person in my administration. We are literally planning the multinational criminal conspiracy organized crime system that we have put into place in order to have that when we leave the White House. We then leave the White
inadmissible.
House, do crimes, inadmissible. Like arguably, certainly at least arguably, inadmissible. What? Why? What? Under what? Why? Why?
All right.
Why?
So here's the why, John.
Oh, because we're worried about stopping presidents from doing what needs to be done.
Exactly. That's the why.
Get the
The
fuck out of here.
fear of criminal prosecution will lead presidents to paralysis in doing what is necessary for the good of the country.
Yeah, no, it seems to have really stopped people from doing shit up to this point.
Now, the one silver lining is they did reject the argument that a president must first be impeached and convicted by Congress to face criminal prosecution.
Okay, well, thank God for small.
A
Oh,
very small thing.
oh my God. What the fuck, man? It's completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. if you're sitting there listening to this, and you're like, why is John keep saying it's completely unnecessary? This is why. For any major, except for strict liability crimes in criminal law, which are exceedingly rare, and I would argue have nothing to do with this. All crimes and statutes have something called mens rea, which is uh, it's what you're thinking. You have to have the right frame of mind or motives um, to be guilty of the crime. For example, in murder, you have to mean to kill the person. Is often the mens rea, or sometimes hurt them a lot, and then that's enough. Um, so to go to the president, if they're doing an official act and their mens rea is in fact to, in cold blood, murder someone, then I want them to be able to go to jail. Like I want. That's not good. That's why the laws work that fucking way. But now, according to court, like as long as he can kind of like snake it into an official thing, the fact that he's just being a murderous asshole doesn't matter. That's fucking crazy. A president could like start a war because he's like because he I'll make it scary like because he met a president and they were peeing next to each other and that president had a bigger dick than his and he's just like fuck this, I'm gonna go blow up France. Like this is crazy. This like what president has ever come out and been like, I would have done a bunch of extra stuff, but I was worried about going to jail. Where
That's
did this
never happened.
problem come from that they're solving for? Like
Donald
they're just
Trump.
inventing a problem. Yeah, just asked and answered. Fair enough.